The grand chamber of the Galactic Council buzzed with tension. Delegates from across the galaxy filled the ornate hall, their voices a cacophony of indignation and fear. At the center, Captain Ilara Kane stood defiantly, her hands clenched at her sides, heart pounding against her ribcage. She could feel the weight of 1,000 stares, the judgment radiating from the alien counselors seated before her. "Captain Kane," boomed High Counselor Varric, his deep voice echoing through the marble walls, "you stand accused of treason against the Council. Your reckless actions led to the destruction of several vessels and the loss of innocent lives." Ilara's jaw tightened. "We were defending ourselves. The sharks attacked first, and we were forced to retaliate. We had no choice." The room erupted into chaos. Accusations flew like missiles, each one striking deeper than the last. The Council had painted humanity as a rogue species, a threat to the fragile peace that bound the galaxy. Despite the mounting evidence of their innocence, Ilara felt the walls closing in. She took a deep breath, forcing herself to stay calm. "Order," Varric commanded, raising a gnarled hand. Silence fell, punctuated only by the hum of the energy generators. "Your actions have consequences, Captain. The Council has reached a decision." Ilara's heart sank as he continued. "The human race is hereby banished from the Galactic Council. You will be stripped of your rights and privileges. No alliance, no aid, no refuge." The finality of the verdict hit her like a physical blow. Around her, the murmurs grew louder, and she caught sight of her crew, her friends, sitting in stunned silence. Each one of them had fought valiantly, and now they would pay the price for her decisions. Ilara glanced at Jax, her tech-savvy second-in-command, who wore a grim expression, his fingers twitching as if he were already calculating their next move. "This isn't over," she said, her voice steady. "We will prove ourselves. We will rise again." With those words, she stepped back, feeling the eyes of the Council bore into her as they adjourned the session. The weight of defeat was suffocating, but beneath it lay a smoldering ember of defiance. Weeks later, on the barren surface of Earth, remnants of humanity gathered in the shadow of their once mighty fleet. The sky was a dull gray, a mirror to the somber mood of the banished species. Ilara stood atop a makeshift platform, her heart heavy, but her spirit unbroken. Around her, weary faces looked up, their eyes filled with a mix of hope and despair. "We've been cast aside, but we are not defeated," she called out, her voice rising above the murmurs. "They may have stripped us of our place in the Council, but they cannot take away our will to fight. The sharks are coming, and we must be ready." Her words ignited a spark among the crowd. As they rallied, plans began to form. They would harness what little resources they had left, innovate, and build their defenses. Over the following months, Ilara dedicated herself to unearthing the remnants of advanced technology hidden in the ruins of old warships and bases. She forged alliances with sympathetic factions, working tirelessly to unite humanity against the encroaching threat. Yet, in the depths of her mind, the Council's betrayal gnawed at her. Whispers of the sharks grew louder, reports of their brutal conquests and insatiable thirst for power. Ilara knew that time was running out. The galaxy was shifting, and humanity needed to reclaim its place before it was too late. In the quiet moments, she would often stare at the stars, her thoughts drifting back to the Council. Beneath her resolve lay a deep-seated yearning for recognition, for acceptance. As the specter of war loomed closer, she couldn't shake the feeling that their banishment was a prelude to something greater, a chance for humanity to rise, not just as a faction, but as a beacon of hope in a galaxy filled with uncertainty. Months turned into years, and Earth transformed under the weight of banishment. Once vibrant cities now stood as desolate reminders of humanity's former glory. The scars of war ran deep, but amid the rubble, resilience sparked like wildfire. Captain Ilara Kane became a symbol of hope, leading a burgeoning resistance dedicated to preparing for the storm that loomed on the horizon. In a hidden bunker beneath the remnants of a skyscraper, the atmosphere was electric with determination. Ilara paced before her assembled crew, including Jax and Mira, who stood at the ready, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of flickering screens displaying the latest intelligence on the Sharks. Reports indicate that the Sharks are consolidating power in the Hrack sector, Jax said, his voice steady but urgent. They've already overrun 3 neighboring worlds. We can't afford to wait much longer. Ilara nodded, the weight of responsibility heavy on her shoulders. We need to strike first. If we show our strength, we can rally the remaining factions to our cause. If we just sit here, we're as good as dead. Mira stepped forward, her brow furrowed in concern. But we don't have the resources for a full-scale assault. Our tech is outdated, and we're outnumbered. What if we fail? Failure isn't an option, Ilara replied, her voice hardening. We may not have ships or weapons on par with the Council's, but we have something they don't. Ingenuity and sheer determination. We've survived this long, and we will keep fighting. As the crew erupted into discussions, Ilara took a moment to reflect. They had lost so much. Friends, families, their place in the galaxy. But through it all, she had seen the human spirit rise. She thought of the sacrifices made, the lives saved in the daring sabotage missions they conducted against the Shark supply lines. Each small victory fueled their fire, even as despair nipped at their heels. That night, as Ilara lay in her bunk, a faint peeping interrupted her thoughts. Jax's voice crackled through the comms. Captain, you need to see this. She hurried to the control room, where Jax sat hunched over the console, his fingers dancing across the controls. The screens displayed satellite imagery of the Hrack sector, and a new message flickered into view. A distress signal. It's an SOS from a colony on the outer rim, Jax explained, excitement mingling with urgency. They're being attacked by the Sharks. If we respond, we could not only save lives, but also gather intel on their tactics and strengths. Ilara felt her pulse quicken. This could be the opportunity they needed. A chance to not only help but also gather momentum. Prepare a rescue mission. We'll need stealth and speed. Gather the team. We leave in an hour. As they prepped, Ilara felt the weight of their mission settle in her gut. She knew the risks, but she also understood the stakes. If they could save the colony, it might awaken other factions to their plight. It was time to show the galaxy that humanity was still a force to be reckoned with. Under the cover of darkness, they slipped into the small transport vessel, the Vanguard *. As the ship ascended, Ilara stole a glance at her crew. Jax was monitoring their flight path, while Mira checked the weapon systems, her expression a mix of fierce determination and unyielding loyalty. Stay sharp, Ilara instructed, her voice steady. We're going into the lion's den. Trust in each other, and we'll make it through. With a nod, her crew prepared for the unknown, the hum of the engines blending with the rhythm of their hearts. As the stars beckoned outside the viewport, Ilara felt a spark of hope igniting within her. They were more than a banished species. They were fighters, ready to reclaim their place in the galaxy, if they could survive the coming storm. The Vanguard sliced through the darkness of space, the distant stars glimmering like shards of hope. Ilara Kane stood at the helm, her gaze fixed on the monitor displaying the coordinates of the beleaguered colony. It was a small settlement on the fringes of the Hrack sector, its existence teetering on the brink of annihilation. The distress signal had grown weaker, and time was running out. Approaching the coordinates now, Jax announced, fingers flying over the console. But there's a problem. Scanners are picking up multiple Sharks vessels in the vicinity. We need to tread carefully. Ilara's heart raced. Can we get a visual? Jax switched the feed to the external cameras, revealing the chaotic scene below. The colony, a cluster of domed structures, was under siege. Shark ships hovered ominously above, their menacing silhouettes casting shadows over the struggling defenses. Bright flashes erupted as the Sharks unleashed their firepower, tearing through the colony's feeble shield. We can't wait, Mira urged, her voice low but intense. If we don't act now, there will be nothing left to save. Ilara nodded, steeling herself. Jax, plot an approach that keeps us out of their sensor range. We'll go in low and fast. We need to make our presence known without drawing too much attention. As they executed the plan, the Vanguard dipped beneath the shark ships, skimming the surface of the colony. The adrenaline surged through Ilara's veins. She felt alive in a way she hadn't in years. This was what they had trained for, what they had fought for. "Prepare for deployment," she commanded, her voice sharp. "Mira, you'll lead the ground team. Jax, keep the ship ready for extraction. I'll coordinate from here." With swift efficiency, they launched a small transport pod loaded with weapons and supplies. Mira clambered inside, her eyes burning with determination. "We won't let them take this place, Captain. We're fighting for their lives." As the pod descended, Ilara felt a pang of fear mixed with pride. Mira was fierce and capable, embodying the spirit of their cause. She watched the pod land, a puff of dust billowing up as it touched down amidst the chaos. "Mira, you're on comms," Ilara instructed, her focus shifting back to the monitors. "Let us know when you're in position." The tension in the control room was palpable as the seconds stretched into eternity. Ilara's thoughts raced, strategizing their next moves, wondering if they could indeed turn the tide. The sharks were ruthless and had the advantage of surprise. She needed to outmaneuver them. "Ground team is in position." Mira's voice crackled through the comms, laced with urgency. "We're taking fire but managing to return it. We'll need backup soon." "Copy that," Ilara replied, her heart pounding. "Jax, ready the main cannon. We'll provide cover fire from above." Just as they initiated their counterattack, a sudden explosion rocked the Vanguard *. Alarms blared, and the ship shook violently. Jax cursed under his breath as he fought to stabilize their trajectory. "We've been detected. Multiple Sharks fighters are closing in." Ilara gritted her teeth. "We can't pull back now. We need to provide air support." Jax nodded, adrenaline coursing through him. "Firing at will. Brace for evasive maneuvers." As the ship rocked and shuddered, Ilara felt the thrill of battle reigniting her spirit. They were no longer just a banished species. They were warriors. With each blast from the Vanguard cannons, they provided crucial cover for Mira and her team, who engaged the Sharks' forces on the ground. Through the chaos, Ilara's focus sharpened. Each moment was filled with possibility. Each decision could tip the scales. If they could hold the line and save the colony, it could be the spark to unite scattered factions and reignite the fight for their rightful place in the galaxy. The tide was shifting, and as the first light of dawn began to break over the horizon, Ilara felt a surge of hope. They were fighting for something greater than themselves. They were fighting for survival, for freedom, and for the future of humanity. The battle raged below, a cacophony of explosions and desperate cries filling the air as Ilara focused on the monitors. The screen showed the chaos of the ground assault, where Mira and her team fought fiercely against the encroaching Sharks' forces. Ilara felt a deep-rooted determination swell within her. Failure was not an option. "Jax, keep us on the move," Ilara commanded as she surveyed the unfolding chaos outside the viewport. "We need to stay mobile to avoid their fire." Jax gripped the controls tightly, sweat beading on his forehead. "I'm maneuvering as fast as I can, but they're relentless. If we don't get some distance, we're sitting ducks." Suddenly, the comms crackled to life with Mira's voice, strained yet fierce. "We're holding the line, but the Sharks are regrouping. They're sending in reinforcements. We need that air support now." "On it," Ilara replied, her pulse racing. "Jax, prep the main cannon for a concentrated fire on their flanking positions." As the ship surged forward, Ilara took a moment to breathe, channeling her focus. The Sharks were ruthless, but they weren't invincible. If they could establish a foothold here, it would galvanize the resistance and show the galaxy that humanity would not go quietly into the night. "Cannon ready," Jax shouted, adrenaline surging. Let's give them hell. With a deep breath, Ilara activated the cannon, sending a series of bright blue bolts of energy streaking towards the sharks' reinforcements. The blasts erupted, scattering their ranks and creating a temporary opening for Mira's team on the ground. Mira, now's your chance. Push forward. Ilara urged, her voice steady despite the chaos. Copy that. Mira responded, her determination palpable even over the comms. We're moving. As Mira and her team advanced, Ilara's heart raced with pride. They were doing it. Against all odds, they were fighting back. But even as hope surged, a sinking feeling clawed at her gut. They needed more than just tactical victories. They needed the legendary asterisk, Hercules asterisk, to truly reclaim their strength. Suddenly, a bright flash caught Ilara's eye on the display. A new signal blipped to life on the radar. Jax turned in surprise. What's this? An unidentified vessel approaching. Ilara's pulse quickened. Can you identify it? Jax's fingers danced across the console. It's the asterisk, Hercules asterisk. I can't believe it. But it looks like it's been heavily modified, almost like it's been weaponized. Get us into a position to intercept. Ilara commanded, her heart racing. If we can regain control of that ship, it could change everything. Already on it, Jax said, excitement bubbling in his voice as he plotted a course. But we need to act fast. The sharks will surely have picked up on it by now. The asterisk Vanguard asterisk veered sharply, speeding towards the incoming asterisk Hercules asterisk. Ilara felt a surge of adrenaline. The ship represented not just a relic of their past, but a key to their future. If they could retrieve it, they could harness its power and change the tide of the war. As they approached, the view of the asterisk Hercules asterisk became clearer. Ilara's heart soared at the sight. Its massive hull, battered but still imposing, was adorned with new weaponry that hinted at its potential. But the joy quickly turned to dread as several shark ships emerged from behind, intent on seizing the asterisk Hercules asterisk for themselves. Jax, can we get to the asterisk Hercules asterisk first? Ilara asked, her voice tense. We'll have to fight our way in, he replied, grim determination in his eyes. I can't guarantee we won't take damage, but it's our best shot. Then let's do it. Ilara shouted, her resolve crystallizing. Engage. The asterisk Vanguard asterisk surged forward, weapons primed as they entered the fray. The air was electric with energy as they engaged the sharks' fighters, dodging incoming fire while Ilara's heart pounded in sync with the rhythm of battle. They needed to get to the asterisk Hercules asterisk, not just for themselves, but for all of humanity. Ilara's thoughts raced. This was the moment they had been waiting for. In reclaiming the asterisk Hercules asterisk, they would not only secure a formidable ally in the fight against the sharks, but also send a powerful message to the Council. Humanity was not to be underestimated. They were ready to reclaim their place in the galaxy, and they would do so together, as one unified force. The battle erupted around the Hercules, chaos reigning as Ilara maneuvered the asterisk Vanguard asterisk with precision. The air crackled with energy and tension as the shark ships swarmed like locusts, their ruthless intent clear. Every shot fired from their cannons felt personal, and Ilara's heart raced, fueled by the weight of humanity's future on her shoulders. 2 sharks fighters on our tail, Jax shouted, sweat glistening on his brow. We can't keep this up much longer. Divert power to shields and prepare for evasive maneuvers, Ilara barked, her eyes darting between the monitors. We have to reach the asterisk Hercules asterisk before they can overpower it. With a sharp turn, the Vanguard dipped beneath the incoming fire, narrowly avoiding a barrage of plasma blasts. The sharks were relentless, and Ilara's determination solidified. This was more than just a rescue mission. It was the potential dawn of a new era for humanity. Target locked on the lead fighter. Jax called out, fingers flying over the controls. Firing now. The Vanguard's cannons roared to life, sending a bolt of energy hurtling towards the lead shark ship. The blast hit true, causing it to spiral out of control and crash into a nearby shark's vessel, creating a chain reaction of explosions. Ilara couldn't help but feel a surge of triumph. "Nice shot," she shouted, but they couldn't celebrate yet. The other fighters were still closing in, and time was running out. "Mira, do you copy?" Ilara initiated a comm link with the ground team. "We're fighting our way to the Hercules *. Can you hold your position?" "Barely," Mira replied, her voice strained but fierce. "We're outnumbered, but we're holding them off. Just get to that ship." "Hang in there," Ilara urged before cutting the line. They needed to get the Hercules operational, and quickly. "Jax, is the docking system still functional?" Ilara asked as they barreled towards the enormous warship. "Should be," he replied, scanning the systems. "But it'll take time to interface. We need to clear the area first." With a determined nod, Ilara focused on their immediate objective: engage the remaining shark ships. We can't let them reach the colony. As the vanguard surged forward, Ilara felt the adrenaline coursing through her veins. Each shot they fired pushed back against the relentless tide of the sharks. She felt a camaraderie with her crew that was deeper than any she'd experienced before. They were not just fighting for survival. They were fighting for their right to exist in a galaxy that had cast them aside. With the last of the shark ships taken down, the vanguard glided into position alongside the Hercules. The warship loomed large, a monument to humanity's past. Ilara's breath caught in her throat as they made contact, the docking clamps locking into place with a satisfying thud. "Docking complete," Jax announced, excitement evident in his voice. "Initiating interface now." "Let's hope she still remembers how to fly," Ilara muttered, feeling a mix of hope and trepidation. The Hercules * had been humanity's pride, a symbol of their strength. Its return could be a game-changer. As the lights flickered to life on the Hercules, a soothing voice emanated from the ship's eye. "Welcome back, Captain Kane. Systems are operational and ready for command." "Excellent," Ilara responded, her heart racing. "Jax, can you upload our tactical data to the Hercules *? We need to get a full assessment of its capabilities." "On it," he said, fingers flying over the console again. "We should be able to take advantage of the ship's weaponry and shields." "Let's prepare for a counteroffensive," Ilara said, excitement bubbling within her. "We're going to show the galaxy what humanity can do." As the Hercules systems powered up, Ilara felt an overwhelming sense of purpose wash over her. With the ship now under their control, they were not just survivors. They were fighters with a fighting chance. "Keep the comms open with Mira," Ilara instructed. "We need to know what's happening on the ground." "Ready when you are," Jax responded, eyes gleaming with determination. With a final glance at the chaos below, Ilara steeled herself. "Let's make our mark. For humanity." As the Hercules * took flight, the bridge filled with the hum of energy and possibility. Together, they would forge new alliances, confront the Orcs, and ultimately reclaim their rightful place in the galaxy. The dawn of a new era was upon them, and they were ready to seize it. The Hercules soared through the void of space, its newly awakened systems humming with power. Ilara Kane stood at the helm, the familiar weight of command settling over her like an old, comfortable cloak. Her crew, now bolstered by the legendary warship, buzzed with excitement and anticipation. "Jax, run a systems check," she ordered, determination sharpening her voice. "I want to know what we're working with." Jax's fingers flew over the controls as he accessed the ship's advanced systems. Shields are at maximum. Weapons are operational, including the experimental plasma cannons we heard rumors about. We're fully armed and ready for a fight. Ilara's heart raced. Good. Let's give them something to remember. She turned her attention to the view screen, which displayed the remnants of the Sharks' forces still struggling to maintain their grip on the colony. They had pushed back against the odds, but the Sharks were relentless, and their sheer numbers threatened to overwhelm the beleaguered settlers. "Mira, come in," Ilara said, opening a direct line to the ground team. "Captain, we're still holding the line, but we can't sustain this for much longer," Mira replied, her voice crackling with urgency. "If you can give us just a little covert fire, we might be able to regroup." "Copy that," Ilara said, her resolve hardening. "Jax, get us in position above the colony. We'll provide support." Engaging thrusters, Jax responded, expertly piloting the Hercules toward the fray. The ship's sleek form glided through space, its powerful engines propelling them closer to the battleground. "Target locked on the largest concentration of Shark's troops," Jax said, his excitement palpable. "Ready to fire on your command." Ilara took a deep breath, steadying her racing heart. "All crew, prepare for coordinated fire. Let's show them what we're made of." With a single command, the Hercules unleashed a barrage of plasma fire, the bright blue bolts illuminating the dark void of space as they struck the Shark's troops below. The impact sent shockwaves through the enemy ranks, scattering them like leaves in a storm. Mira's voice burst through the comms, filled with disbelief and exhilaration. "What was that? You just decimated their front line." "Just a warm-up," Ilara replied, a grin spreading across her face. "We're just getting started." As the Hercules continued its assault, Ilara felt a surge of adrenaline and unity with her crew. They were no longer a banished species. They were warriors, reclaiming their place in the galaxy. Each shot fired from the ship was a declaration of their resolve, a promise to stand against the darkness. "Captain, the Sharks are regrouping and attempting to flank us," Jax warned, eyes wide as he adjusted their shields. "We need to reposition." "Divert power to the aft shields," Ilara commanded, her voice steady. "We'll hold them off." The Hercules swiveled in space, bringing its formidable weapons to bear against the incoming Shark ships. Ilara's hands gripped the controls tightly as she directed their fire, aiming for their engines to disable the enemy's advance. "Fire!" she shouted, and the ship responded with a deafening roar, energy bolts streaking toward the enemy fleet. One by one, Shark's ships exploded in bursts of fire and debris, but even as victory tasted sweet, Ilara felt the gravity of their situation. They needed to act quickly. The Sharks wouldn't back down without a fight. "Prepare for a ground assault," Ilara declared, her voice firm. "We need to drive them out of the colony for good." "Deploying ground forces now," Jax said, initiating the transport systems. "We'll send in a strike team to secure the perimeter." Mira's voice crackled through once more, tinged with excitement. "We're ready for backup. Just point us in the right direction." As the transport pods launched from the Hercules Ilara felt a swell of pride. They were reclaiming their destiny, one battle at a time. The transport pods soared down toward the colony, filled with their best fighters, equipped with the advanced weaponry salvaged from the Hercules. "Let's give them everything we've got," Ilara urged, her heart pounding in sync with the ship's engines. "This is our moment." With renewed vigor, they plunged into the fray, driving the Shark's forces back and securing the colony. Each shot fired, each enemy ship destroyed, marked a step toward reclaiming humanity's place in the galaxy. The tide had turned, and Ilara could feel it. A new dawn was rising, one forged in the fires of battle and united strength. Victory was within reach, and Ilara was determined to seize it for herself, her crew, and all of humanity. The galaxy would remember this day, not as a moment of banishment, but as the moment humanity rose again. The atmosphere inside the Hercules was electric as Ilara Kane stood at the helm, watching the live feed from the transport pods deploying to the colony below. Cheers erupted from the crew as they witnessed the tide of battle shifting in their favor. "Ground forces are in position," Jax announced, a grin spreading across his face. "Mira and her team are engaging the Sharks directly. They're pushing them back." "Good," Ilara said, her heart swelling with pride. But we can't let up. We need to maintain pressure and ensure they don't regroup. As the Hercules hovered above the battlefield, Ilara ordered another round of plasma fire, targeting the remnants of the Shark's forces. The ship's powerful cannons roared to life, lighting up the dark expanse of space. Bright blue bolts rained down, striking enemy positions with precision, further disorienting the Shark's troops below. "Mira, how's it looking down there?" Ilara initiated the comms, eager for updates. "It's chaotic, but manageable," Mira replied, her voice steady despite the clamor of battle. "We've taken out their command structure, but they're still pushing hard. We could use some cover fire on our left flank." "On it," Ilara commanded, her focus unwavering. "Jax, adjust our angle and provide cover for Mira's team." As the Hercules repositioned, Ilara felt the weight of their mission pressing down on her. This battle wasn't just about the colony. It was about sending a message to the galaxy that humanity was no longer to be underestimated. With every shot they fired, they were carving out a new legacy. "Cover fire engage," Jax announced, fingers flying over the controls. The ship's cannons unleashed another barrage, raining destruction upon the Shark's forces and giving Mira's team the breathing room they needed. "We're pushing through." Mira's voice rang out over the comms, now filled with excitement. "We're on the move. I think we can flank their main force." "Good. We'll coordinate from here," Ilara replied, heart racing with the prospect of victory. As the battle intensified, Ilara noticed a new blip on her radar. A large Shark's warship had emerged from behind an asteroid field, clearly aiming to reinforce their beleaguered comrades. The ship was heavily armored and bristling with weaponry, a formidable threat that could turn the tide back in favor of the Sharks. "Jax, we've got incoming. We need to take that warship down before it can engage," Ilara said, urgency creeping into her tone. "Targeting systems locked," Jax replied, determination evident in his voice. "We need to be precise. That thing's going to be tough to crack. Let's not hold back. Fire at will," Ilara commanded, adrenaline surging through her veins. The Hercules unleashed its powerful arsenal, focusing on the warship's weak points. The bright plasma blasts struck true, but the Shark ship returned fire, sending a volley of energy blasts toward them. The Hercules shook under the impact, alarms blaring as damage reports flooded in. "Shields holding at 70%, Jax shouted, fighting to keep the ship steady. "We can take another hit, but we need to end this quickly." Ilara gritted her teeth, unwilling to back down. "We can't afford to retreat. Push forward." With each command, they engaged in a deadly dance, firing and dodging as the battlefield exploded with energy. Ilara could feel the tide shifting, the momentum building. They were on the brink of reclaiming their place in the galaxy, and she could sense the possibility of victory. "Direct hit to their engines," Jax shouted, a spark of triumph in his voice. "They're losing power." "Yes." Ilara felt a surge of adrenaline. "Let's finish this. Target their main weapons next." As the Hercules unleashed another round of fire, the Shark's warship began to falter. Explosions erupted from its hull, sending debris spiraling into the void. The remaining Shark's fighters, witnessing the destruction of their flagship, hesitated, their resolve wavering. "Mira, we're breaking their line," Ilara said, her voice filled with urgency. "Now's your chance to drive them back." "On it," Mira's voice came through, more determined than ever. "We're moving in to finish this." With the Shark's forces in disarray, Mira and her team surged forward, engaging the enemy with renewed vigor. Ilara watched as the tide of battle turned decisively in their favor. They were not just fighting for survival, they were reclaiming their dignity and their right to exist among the stars. In that moment, Ilara understood the true power of unity and courage. Humanity was not merely a banished species, They were a force to be reckoned with, ready to carve their destiny in the galaxy. As the last remnants of the Sharks' forces fell before them, Ilara felt the weight of their struggles lift, replaced by a bright horizon of possibility. As the final Shark ships disintegrated in the wake of the Hercules**'s plasma fire, a sense of triumph swept through Ilara Kane and her crew. The battlefield, once a site of desperation, transformed into a testament of resilience. The cheers of her crew echoed in the bridge, but Ilara remained focused, knowing that this victory was just the beginning. "Mira, report," Ilara commanded, her voice steady despite the adrenaline still coursing through her veins. "Captain, we've secured the colony. The Sharks are in full retreat, and we're rounding up the remaining stragglers. The settlers are safe," Mira replied, her tone filled with relief and pride. "Excellent work, everyone," Ilara said, a sense of camaraderie enveloping her. "This is a victory for all of us." As the dust settled on the battlefield, Ilara turned her attention back to the view screen. The colony, a vibrant blend of humanity's ingenuity, now stood as a beacon of hope. But beneath the surface, she sensed that this fight was part of something larger. The Galactic Council would not take kindly to the resurgence of humanity. "Jax, send a signal to the Council," Ilara instructed. "Let them know what's happened here and that we're not going to be silenced any longer." Jax nodded, a grin still plastered on his face. "You got it, Captain. They're going to want to hear this." With the transmission sent, Ilara took a moment to breathe, allowing the weight of the battle to settle in. They had reclaimed not just the colony, but their identity. They were warriors, reclaiming their place in the cosmos. As the crew celebrated, Ilara felt a sense of responsibility tugging at her heart. They needed to prepare for the inevitable fallout. The Council had exiled them, but now, with the Hercules* back in their hands, they had the means to challenge that decision. "Mira, what's the status on the colony?" Ilara asked, directing her attention back to the ground forces. "We've set up a perimeter, and the settlers are starting to regroup," Mira replied. "They're grateful, Captain. You should see the looks on their faces." Ilara smiled. "Good. Let's ensure they know we're here to stay. This isn't just about saving a colony. It's about forging a new path for humanity." Suddenly, the comms buzzed with an urgent tone. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the Council," Jax said, a hint of disbelief in his voice. "On screen," Ilara commanded, her pulse quickening. The face of High Counselor Ven appeared on the display, his expression a mix of concern and irritation. "Kane, what have you done? You've disregarded our orders and engaged in conflict with the Sharks. This is a direct violation of your exile." Ilara straightened, meeting his gaze with unwavering confidence. "Counselor Ven, we've reclaimed our place in this galaxy. The Sharks threaten not just us, but every colony on the fringe. We will no longer be a footnote in your history." Ven's eyes narrowed. "You're a rebel, Kane. Your actions could have dire consequences." "And what are those consequences?" Ilara challenged, her voice steady. "You've exiled us, treated us as pariahs. We've proven ourselves capable of defending our people. We demand recognition, not just for ourselves, but for all humanity scattered across the stars." A tense silence hung in the air. Ilara could sense the Counselor's discomfort, the power shift palpable through the screen. "This isn't over, Kane," Ven warned, his tone icy. "You may have won today, but the Council will respond." "I look forward to it," Ilara replied, her heart racing with the thrill of defiance. "But know this, we're no longer alone. We've awakened the spirit of humanity, and we will fight together. For our future." As the transmission ended, the bridge erupted in cheers once more. Ilara felt a weight lift from her shoulders, replaced by a sense of purpose. They had begun a revolution, and the galaxy would remember this day. "Set course for our next objective," she ordered, her voice firm. "We need to rally support from other colonies. If we stand united, we can take back our rightful place. Jax and the crew sprang into action, and Ilara felt a fierce pride swell within her. They were no longer mere remnants of a fallen empire. They were humanity, resilient, fierce, and ready to fight for their future. As the Hercules navigated through the stars, Ilara gazed out at the vastness of space. A new dawn was breaking, one filled with hope and unity. They were no longer banished. They were warriors, and this was just the beginning of their story.